Today is the day that I start rebuilding my 1988 Honda CRX HF. I've owned this car for over 11 years. I bought it on January 9th, 2004. And over the past couple years, I have amassed a ton of parts for it. And I don't know what rims I'm going to end up putting on there. I don't even remember what rims those are. I know these are LS mesh. I don't remember what those are. Anyway, this is a JDM version of the D15Z7. It's a 3-stage dual VTEC engine. That's an EK3 engine clip, complete with engine, transmission, everything on there. ECU, same exact engine and transmission. It's a 99. Here's ECU, I think it's a P2J. And what I'm going to start on first, which is actually, that is the original steering column. I put in a tilt column, and I have issues with that. I'll make a video on that when I'm done with this. But I have two sets of rear disc brakes. This one came from a 92 coupe. The other one came from, I don't remember if it was a 92. It doesn't really matter. They're all the same from 1990 to 1993. And there are two differences between the coupe and the sedan. The first difference, which is the biggest difference, is that the length of the emergency brake cables. The sedan is obviously longer, and it does not fit the CRX. I don't know if there's a way to mod it to make it fit. I'm going to attempt that, and if not, I'll just get other emergency brake cables, which are probably going to be a pain in the butt to try to get off all by themselves. The other difference is the rear sway bar. On the coupe, it is a smaller diameter, and on the sedan, it's a larger diameter. So when I do install it, there are no holes for it on the CRX, so I'm going to have some probably welded in with some nuts or something put on there, so it's just a bolt-in affair. And other than that, these are identical. Almost everything on here is identical if it was a 91 CRX SI that was already equipped with rear disc brakes. The one difference is the rear trailing arm bushing, which I have right here. Since it's an Acura Integra, it's a little bit smaller, and that's the code for it. And in this set here, I will show you what the actual code would be if it was a CRX. So if you do get the Integras, make sure you get the correct bushings. And I'm sure if you get the wrong ones, you're going to figure it out probably. So here's a parts list. I bought this, God, probably a year, 2 years ago, and just recently went through it and made sure that everything on here was in here. And I also went and numbered everything and put everything together that I could put together. This sleeve depends on which control arm you have. You've got to use the sleeve. You can only use one set of these, so that's the only thing I found out of there. But otherwise, everything's in here. And then as far as the rear trailing arm bushing set, it's a 16.7106, whereas this is a 16.7107R. And the R is just for red, so that doesn't really matter. So that would be the difference. And I don't have anything else. I have Innovation motor mounts, so I'm not worried about that because I'm going to be putting in a 6th gen D series, or 6th gen Civic engine and transmission, I should say. So with that, I'll go through everything that comes in energy suspension, because this is the master kit, which I'll have to show. Let me show what's in the bag too. The other good thing about these is there are numbers on these, so if you can't find the part too well, and then you just look on the number. I've got a mosquito tearing up my leg. I may pause this video and stomp his guts out. I can't have the fan on because you wouldn't be able to hear me. So this is for non-power steering rack. This is the lubricant that anytime a piece of metal is going to touch one of these, I can't get him. He's too fast and wily. Front end link. I slid open the bag and then put Scotch tape over it after I had numbered the instructions. And again, this is the lubricant you use on anything metal that's going to touch the polyurethane. So then I bought brake lines, brake hoses, and they are just the regular ones, stock ones, and nothing special. That is the number for the master set, and I believe are these the same part number? Yes, they are. So same part number, and I got these from, I think, Auto Geek Parts, I think it was, and this was just going to be to put on the sedan ones on the 91 HF that I have. And then I decided for mine, why not get stainless steel, and for front and rear, all four. So I got these off of eBay, and I paid $115 for this. And these are supposed to be some bad mamma jammas. I also have in the back of my 95 EX, I have a brake booster from an Integra that takes a 1-inch master cylinder, and then you got to do a double flare on the tubing, and you can put a much bigger master cylinder on, because I believe this car comes equipped with a 13/16. The 95 Civic comes with a 15/16, and the Integra's got the 1-inch. Certain Integras have the 1-inch. So those are the parts. Plus, whenever you're going to be swapping out the differentiating proportioning valve, I believe this is just a proportioning valve. I don't believe it differentiates anything, but I could be wrong. I think there's like a 40/20 or a 40/30 on there, and what you want is a 40/40. Come on. Come on, you know you want to do it. Oof, almost. 40/40, there it is. So you want one of those. And this one's also a 4040. Well, that showed up quick. And then this one I think is off of a Del Sol. And this is a 1725. It's a T3, I guess, instead of a T2. Don't really know much of the difference, except for the fact that the CRX SIs came with the 4040. So I'm going to be putting one of the 4040s on, and probably the one that's got the least amount of rust. So I'll go with that. And I'll probably go grab a few more out of the junkyard. I bought a set of these a while ago, and these work great for brake lines. And matter of fact, I cut all the brake lines off of that and left the nuts on there because a lot of them were too hard to get off. Just used a breaker bar last night with a, I think it was a 10mm crow's foot, and it worked great. Just snapped that thing and it broke it free. These made in the USA, which is nice. I think I paid $50 for this set. Bought it off of Sears.com. And what these are great for is being able to get a torque wrench on these and in tight areas to torque down certain bolts that you wouldn't normally have access to once you get a socket and a torque wrench on. And so these are great for that, especially when it's clearances in between the shock tower and the engine. This is a ball joint separator from Harbor Freight, and item number, come on, this has got terrible focus. Spend so much time trying to focus on. So it's 99849. Yes, 99849. And it's supposedly, I've read on other forums that this is what you use in order to break the ball joint free without damaging the rubber boot. Because whenever I use a pickle fork ball joint separator, it tears it up every single time. Also have struts, and these I believe are for the CRX and not the Integra. I'd have to check the part number because I'm not sure about that. And I have this tool from AutoZone, which is part number, there we go, 27036. And this thing's brand new. And this one's never even been opened. And with all of that, I have also a 20-ton shop press from Harbor Freight that I bought a couple years ago. Probably about 2.5 now. You can tell it's orange. They now make them in silver. When I bought this cherry picker, it was silver was just coming out back then. That was 2.5 years ago. So this will definitely, hopefully, make the job go a lot smoother. So next video will probably be me cussing and putting the parts in.